right, welcome to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel, your go-to place for non-staff, non-biased, multi-style reviews. My name is Chris, and I'm here to bring the high-rev perspective.
And my name is Josh, and I will be bringing the low-rev perspective.
All right, today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Radical Torpedo Direct Hit, and I'm going to be comparing it to the Storm IQ Tour AI and the Storm Equinox.
And I will be comparing it to the Brunswick Melee Jab Carbon and the Hammer Axe. These reviews will give us and you an idea of what these rocks look like going down the lane. At the end, we will give our unbiased review anywhere from nuts to trash. So make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you out on the lanes.
All right, just wrapped up throwing 10 shots with the Radical Torpedo Direct Hit. Now this one is probably the weakest bowling ball that I've probably thrown in a really long time. I definitely felt like I needed to be a little bit closer to the friction, so I moved quite a bit further to the right. But even here, it made the pattern feel flatter than it actually is because of how weak the cover really is. The core numbers I feel like are fairly strong, but it felt like it never really wanted to see the pattern the right way. I even tried moving further left, kind of into the track where there's a little bit of friction, and just kind of slow my ball speed down. But even then, I feel like it would see the friction and hook, and then get down lane, and then try to hook again, and then just hit the pins kind of like a potato. But I'm gonna go ahead and compare it to the IQ Tour AI and see how that compares. All right, after seeing the IQ Tour AI go down the lane, you could definitely tell how much this wanted to see the lane as compared to the Torpedo Direct Hit. I think that's really just a cover thing. The IQ Tour AI really wanted to slow down and go forward through the pins, as to where the Torpedo Direct Hit was like, never really had that confidence that it was gonna either slow down and kind of go through the pins. I feel like it deflected every single time that it hit the right side of the head pin. So now we're gonna go ahead and compare that to the Storm Equinox. All right, after seeing the Equinox go down the lane, I feel like this might not be a super fair comparison to compare it against the Torpedo Direct Hit, but looking at the numbers, they're almost identical number-wise. The differences really come in the covers. The Direct Hit having the super weak low-end cover stock, and the Equinox having a more higher friction, higher performance type of cover. You can really see the difference. I had to move quite a bit further left with the Equinox just because it really wanted to see the pattern and see the friction, as to where the Torpedo Direct Hit just wanted to kind of get down lane as much as it possibly could. So for me, I feel like the Torpedo fits more for kind of those beginners where you can't really control your rev rate to speed ratio. If you have really slow ball speed but really high rev rate, this one might look a little bit better for you. All right, final thoughts on the Torpedo Direct Hit. For me, I don't think I'm gonna use this ball very much. I feel like I bowl on too many patterns that have a little bit too much oil, and I'm not really gonna get any use out of it. I feel like, again, it would fit more for the kind of like even beginner two-handers that have really slow ball speed but really high rev rates. I feel like this would kind of control the friction for them and make it a little bit easier to get started if you have a higher rev rate. But for me, I think this is gonna have to be a potato. I just don't see myself throwing this ball very much.
Just threw 10 shots with the Torpedo Direct Hit. I had a little bit of a tough time expecting what this ball was going to do because it just overall is fairly weak. It still hooks, it still has an asym core, and for me it just was a little hard to control on what we're bowling on right now. It's it sees the friction and goes. But if I didn't get it there, it reacted like it was a plastic ball for me. So not my favorite type of reaction. However, I can see it being useful on tougher patterns and maybe even knocking down the surface a little bit. Like I could see this, being a step up from like a spy on something, maybe short where you need, the ball to hook really early. It's not my game, but I can see it working in that slot. So now we're gonna go ahead and compare it to the Brunswick Melee Jab Carbon and see how it compares. Just finished up with the Melee Jab Carbon. Like I said, I had a tough time trying to compare a couple balls just because this is such a niche ball that it doesn't really, have a place in my bag. So this ball, the Melee, hooked quite a bit more. I was like 2-3 zones further left and different ball speed, just because of how much sooner it wanted to see the lane. Didn't give me a bad ball motion, but compared to the direct hit, they were kind of night and day, but like I said, didn't have really much else to compare it to. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the hammer axe, which should be a little bit more on pace with what this type of ball is. Just threw 5 shots with the hammer axe. For me, I felt this ball needed to see friction in the earlier part of the lane, where with the direct hit, I could actually be a little bit further left with it. However, I trusted the axe to actually strike when it hit pocket, which, like I said, for me, this is like Resort Z. I typically don't have this option in my bag ever, but it's nice to know that it's there. But it's one of those things where I might use it once every 3-4 years kind of deal. So, but like I said, the axe was definitely cleaner and it had to be just more straight with it compared to the direct hit. Final thoughts on the Radical Torpedo Direct Hit. This ball for me, like I said, is very niche, very specific. And for the low-rev perspective, I really don't ever see myself throw a ball like this. So because of that, I'm gonna have to give this ball a potato. I just don't think for me that I can really do much with it on a house shot, on a sport shot. Like it has to be like almost, like a really almost like a plastic level pattern made specifically for it, less than 15 mils kind of deal. And because of that, like I said, I just don't see myself throwing it almost ever. So because of that, it's gonna have a potato for me today.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure you like it, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.